La 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 la, la la la. Inspired by true events, the greatest podcast to be broadcast into your brain.
Welcome. This is Inspired by Movies, the podcast where we talk about movies and the real stories behind them. My name is MK. My pronouns are they, them.
My name is Courtney, or Cake, or Pancake, and my pronouns are she, they.
My name is Emily, and my pronouns are she, her.
So funny story about like that intro. Because I was quoting The Emperor's New Groove. And you know the part where he was like,
Cusco's poison.
The poison chosen specifically to kill Cusco. Cusco's poison, not poison. She said that's what it reminded, like the podcast where we talk about movies and real events.
Well, you were saying that, and it reminded me of the Mentats in Dune, where it's like,
I am a Mentat also. So
you are? Crom the Mentat.
Yeah, with my Kool-Aid mustache. The stains become a warning.
I forgot.
Did you want to talk about like notable events in the Olympics? Or?
Well, I do want to talk some tea a little bit about figure skating that's happening right now in the Olympics. Mm-hmm. Do you know about it?
Mm-mm.
You know about it because I've been talking to you about it a lot.
Oh god, yeah, that whole...
Okay, a couple of other notable things. It was Shaun White's last Olympics.
Mm-hmm. Isn't he the snowboarder?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
That redheaded beauty.
He's a gorgeous person.
Yeah, he's great. But yeah, his like saying goodbye to the Olympics and being a competitive snowboarder and stuff, like he was like crying and saying thank you, and he like thanked his snowboard and like
Didn't he get like fourth or?
Yeah, I think he got fourth. He basically said, like they're young.
Yeah, I know,
like,
yeah.
He's like 30 or in his 30s.
Yeah,
like he's our age. Yeah. And even on his runs, you could tell that he was going easy. I mean, it's like, at our age, you just can't risk those big falls anymore. Mm-mm. Like, I mean, you can, but the amount of falls that he's been in,
yeah. It's different with a competitive athlete.
Yeah, because you're pushing yourself to that limit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
so that was sweet. And then there's Nathan Chen, who won gold for the U.S., and I got confused because I heard people saying that he was from China, and then when I saw his uniform being red and like the yellow, he was born in Salt Lake. He's from Salt Lake, and he is a figure skater, and his mom is from Beijing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so then China was pissed off at him, saying...
It kind of sucks, because I'm reading all this stuff about Chinese people on social media, just like tearing people apart. So like on him, they blasted on social media like he's a traitor.
I wonder if he has dual citizenship, if that's like creating a problem for fans.
I mean, it's hard to get dual citizenship if you weren't born in a different country. But maybe he was born in China and I have that totally wrong.
Well, I don't know. Yeah. My Kat, she wasn't born in Greece, but she has dual citizenship in Greece.
Really?
Uh-huh.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So maybe he does.
Because her dad is he like moved here from Greece when he was like in his 20s.
Oh, wow.
So if his mom is from Beijing, I wonder if...
Like, I'm not really sure like what his like citizenship status is. As far as I know, he was born in America. He is American. He is American. And he skated for America. And his performance was so cool.
Was it?
Yeah.
I didn't watch any of the Olympics because I'm bad.
It's alright. His performance was, he was skating most of the time to like a soft instrumental version of Rocket Man.
Ooh.
And then at the end, he like started like going really fast because like Benny and the Jets were playing.
Yes! Mm-hmm. Oh, that sounds awesome.
It was really cool. If you get a chance, look it up.
I'm going to. Is there more tea about the Olympics?
There is. There's the biggest tea.
First, Aaron Jackson.
Oh!
won gold.
Oh yeah, yes, hell yeah.
Erin Jackson won gold.
So
She
badass. Ugh.
If you ever get a chance to look up that race, like when she's doing her crossovers, like even the announcers were like, or the commentators were like, she has some serious power behind those legs.
That's wild.
Yeah.
My favorite was at the beginning when they were saying that she's like such a game day skater, you know, like she just, it's like her focus and all this stuff. And like, yeah, she doesn't have to also worry about somebody hitting her.
Right.
Yeah.
Just go fast. Not saying just go fast, but yeah,
Yeah.
that does take a little stress
So,
off. I believe it. Yeah.
But yeah, she won gold, and it was just,
We're so
yeah,
proud
just,
to have been in her presence
yeah,
before.
Yeah, like,
I think that we would all be in agreement with awarding her with the chefiest of kisses.
the chefiest. Mwah. And there was the first non-binary figure skater to compete
This year.
No shit.
Yeah.
I was about to be like, how have neither of you told me
I
this?
know.
The, like, for real tea. Kamila Valieva from Russia. So Russia, they go hard. Like, that's like their deal since forever in the Olympics. Well, Kamila Valieva, she has been everybody's favorite, like, even, like, Tara Lipinski, she's like, I have said that she is the best in the world right now. She's amazing. Whatever. And so
Isn't she like 15 too?
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. 15 or 16. Anyways, she's a young teenager. And she has just been pulling it out. And then, turns out she tested positive in a drug test. For a sport-enhancing drug.
Ruh-roh.
They were like, well, we're gonna let her still compete until we investigate this. Everybody's, like, kind of pissed about it. So, in her next skate, Johnny Ware and Tara Lipinski, they were just straight up saying, like, we should not have seen this. This was her blah, blah, blah performance, and they didn't even really commentate at all the whole time.
Yeah.
And Johnny's like, I'm sorry that this is overshadowing your Olympics.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
wow.
These two have been like all over for like being like silly and crazy and really flamboyant and like stylish. So to hear them like that, it was
That's a big
really,
deal.
yeah, like Tara Lipinski was just like, and I'm really sorry, we should not be watching this right now. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
But
I almost want to watch that now too.
Yeah.
I have 11 Olympics to watch.
There's
today.
some drama. In the Summer Olympics, sprinter Sha'Carri Richardson, she wasn't allowed to compete because she tested positive for marijuana, and her mom had just died. She was upset, so she, smoked a bowl.
in Vegas where it's legal.
Yeah, and they
Okay.
wouldn't let her compete.
That's what
Yeah.
you said. That I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's not right.
I thought
That's
for
not
sure.
okay.
Yeah, they interviewed Sha'Carri, and she was like, the only thing that I see different here is that I'm a black young lady. Yeah, I mean, seriously, what's the difference? Sha'Carri is always wearing these fiery wigs, and she's, like, standing out, too, and people are like, ugh. And then this little white teenager, you know.
Ugh.
Either way, she shouldn't have skated anymore because,
she should have been immediately disqualified.
Yeah, Tara and Johnny, they even said there's no gray area here.
Yeah.
You either are positive or negative, and they investigate later.
Yeah, and these two are former figure skaters.
Olympics figure skaters.
And so, like, they know.
The thing that sucks, though, is that So because of this, they said that if she did win a medal, they weren't going to have the ceremony. So the other people that get the medal, they just get screwed out of a medal ceremony.
Like the IOC said that?
Yeah, they were going to cancel the medal the medal ceremonies if she had medals. And
Why not just... Okay.
yeah, but either way, she got 4th. And Johnny and Tara, when they were commenting, they're like, thank God she didn't medal, you know?
She shouldn't have been allowed to anyway.
I know.
Oh my God.
Well, they were saying, like, well, her grandpa gets prescribed this medicine because it's like a heart medication, so it, like, helps your body be able to maintain a decent heart rate while exerting yourself. And they were like, well, her grandpa gets prescribed that medicine, but it's like still unclear how it got into her system.
Yeah. They were like, it could have been contaminated from her grandfather's medicine. Doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Like, doesn't matter. What, is he accidentally, like, pouring it over her cereal? Like,
Yeah, like
Is crushing it up and putting it in her Gatorade.
right.
And it's crazy that they still allowed her to skate because Russia has so many issues with doping in the Olympics. Like, this isn't the first time.
Yeah.
Like, there's been a lot of doping with Russia. So it's just like, really? Okay. So,
yeah, but that's the Olympics tea.
yeah.
Oh,
I
fun.
know, there's some drama. It's perfect that you spilled the tea because we got some other Olympic tea.
Oh, yes.
With this movie, I, Tonya. So this is a 2017 movie.
Yep.
Starring Margot Robbie as Tonya, Sebastian Stan as Jeff, Allison Janney as Lavana. Lavana?
Based on irony-free,
Oh,
wildly contradictory, totally true interviews of Tonya Harding and Jeff Goldblum. It's like, there you go, own it.
Yeah. Cut 2. Interview style of filming. It starts with Tonya, then it just kind of does like cut 2s, and then Tonya, and then Sebastian, then Allison Janney. And she's got a fucking bird on her shoulder. And it's like biting her ear. She's like, this is my 6th husband. Best one yet. And then, oh my God. So this guy, Sean Eckhart, like, this is one of the few movies where I was so infuriated I wanted to stop watching.
Yeah?
Because of this character.
Oh, he sucks.
Yeah, like in my notes, I just refer to him as Fat Fuck. Because he is awful.
I was like reading an interview. No, it was just an article about like the production of the movie. They just keep referring to Sean as Jeff's loser friend. And I'm like, that's exactly what he is. He's just a fucking loser. Reminds me of my dad.
Yeah.
He's all like, oh yeah, I work in counterterrorism. And I was like, oh, it's Joe!
Seriously. He's on like a recorded tape and he's saying like, they wanted to take her out, but he suggested there are other ways to disable a person. So, oh no, so you're welcome. Cuts to Jeff Goldblum. At 27, he was the most hated man in America with a mustache he can't apologize enough for.
And Lavana just refers to him as mustache.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, and like,
I put... His soul patch isn't much better.
No, it's not.
whatever the fuck that thing is.
His just facial hair is...
Yeah.
It's not...
He should not be allowed.
It's just not.
And he owned a salon at one point.
What?
At the end when they're doing the, like, facts of how they're doing now.
One.
But, yeah, and then he was just explaining how his name became a verb, like, you use his name if you want to bash someone's knee in.
I'm gonna galooly, you kid.
Yeah. And then he, like, got, like, really quiet, and he's like, yeah, that's pretty cool.
I like the part where they're interviewing Tonya, and she's just saying that, figure skating, they want a certain someone, a certain look, a certain person. And she's like, and I'm a poor redneck. I'm poor and I'm redneck, and I'm not going to apologize for it.
Yeah. Behind Tonya in the sink, like, there's just dishes in the sink. And for some reason, I thought that was really funny. Like, if you're getting interviewed,
Yeah.
like,
Just leave your mess there.
yeah, like, do the dishes.
Tonya
This is
doesn't
who
give a
I
fuck.
am.
She talks about in a sport where judges pick you apart, but I was the first U.S. woman to land a triple axel. So,
Yeah.
Cut to 40 years earlier.
fucking Lavana smoking the longest cigarette.
Oh,
It reminded
cigarette.
me, it reminded me of like when we were talking about my dad's Virginia Slims.
the Virginia Slims, dude, and your mom's Winston's.
Yeah, and when she's like throughout the movie, she'll like light up a cigarette, and they're so long. She's like holding them in the middle.
Yeah.
So it just, I guess
like,
they're
just-
cigarillas. Is that what they are? They're
Yeah.
just so fucking
That's
long.
what-
It's like the Virginia Slims of a cigarillo.
It's like a cigarette, but a cigar.
Huh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
Basically, for somebody who wants to smoke a cigar, but carry around a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that makes sense for Lavana.
Cut to Lavana and little Tonya are at the ice rink.
Cute little girl. Looks like
Baby
She's
doll.
so
oh
cute.
God, in that little outfit she's
Ugh.
wearing. Oh my
Her little hood. She looks like a little freaking.
Ew.
Ugh.
God.
Lavana is trying to talk to the woman who is like training all the little girls and figure skating. She's real stuck up. If I do say so myself.
Diane.
And so she's trying to be like, oh, my kid wants to be in your class. I really think she should be in the class. But she's a little flippant about it. She's just like, whatever. All she does is talk about skating. Diane turns her down.
Diane tells her no smoking, and she says, okay, I'll do it quietly.
Yeah.
And then also, the music to this movie, the soundtrack, the score, whatever you call it, fantastic.
Oh, it's great.
Mhm.
It's
and this scene is Devil Woman.
fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's so great.
Yeah.
Lavana's just like, whatever, just go skate anyway. Little Tanya's skating around, and Diane's watching her. It says that 6 months later, Tonya wins her first competition at 4 years old.
A soft 4.
She's a soft 4. Following that, there's a training montage where, like, her mom is coaching her. She's on the sidelines slipping some booze into her coffee. She's cussing at her.
Yeah.
And then one of the moms is like, no swearing in front of the kids. And she turns to this mom, and Lavana's just like, I didn't swear, you cunt.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I
wow. I was just like, Lavana. She's explaining to, like, shouting at Tonya from the sidelines, being like, don't talk to that girl. She's your opponent. Don't make friends. We're not here to make friends.
She's your enemy.
She's your enemy. Exactly. You know, she skates over to her mom and she's like, well, I need to go to the bathroom. Her mom kind of, like, mildly threatens her to stay on the ice.
She does a bunch of tricks after that
Mhm.
Yeah. And
to
then
be like, well, obviously I'm good enough.
Yeah. And then she, like, wets her pants. And
Mhm.
it's so upsetting.
Into her skate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Then she was just like, skate wet then.
yeah.
It's like there's these, like, split seconds where you think, oh, she's gonna do the good mom thing.
And
then it's like something switches in her brain and she's like, no, I gotta be a bitch to this kid.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Also, where are all her other children?
I know, yeah.
She has
I also
4 other
wondered
ones.
Yeah.
Mhm. They're dead.
It's not about them.
Yeah.
Cut to
Cut to
interview with Lavana being like, so I hit her one time with a hairbrush. Like, I didn't hit my kid. Like, basically, there's like a whole montage of her beating up Tonya.
And just like justifying it.
And she like claims she skated better when she was enraged. And I'm like, you're an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
That's some manipulative bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah. I mean, this movie's full of it.
Oh, yeah. She's like explaining to her dad about how someone at school called them white trash.
Oh,
And she
yeah.
told Lavana, and Lavana was just like, spit in her milk.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I hope you didn't do that. And she's like, well, not yet. And I'm like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is smart that they used picture day for
Yeah.
her costume.
Yeah.
But also, why not have her bring a change of clothes?
Yeah.
I don't understand that part. Basically, it cuts to Diane telling Levon that Tonya needs to look like the other skaters, and that she needs to get a fur coat. And Levon is like, I do everything that I can to make money for this kid, and I don't have the money for that, and why,
Yeah.
And Diane is just, being herself. It's really not
Yeah.
caring.
Yeah, she's just like saying like it's not about image, but it's also about your upbringing and how she's being raised. And then Levana is just like,
Lick my ass, Diane.
yeah, lick my ass, Diane. There it is.
I loved Allison Janney in this movie so much.
That hair, though.
Ugh,
I
lick
mean,
my ass, Diane. She
yeah.
could do a fucking triple.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So good.
Yes.
Yeah. And then they cut to Dad making her fur coat out of bunnies.
Yeah. Right.
Which, I don't know what her coat looked like in real life, but the one that they made for the movie looked okay to me.
Pretty nice.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. But
It's-
then, cut to Dad's moving out.
Yeah.
That scene killed me.
Mhm.
is so sad. Like that little girl. That little girl that they
McKenna
got.
Grace.
Yeah.
I love her. She
Mm.
was in the new Ghostbusters.
I haven't seen it yet. Yeah, so that scene's so sad. She's just like screaming, like, take me with you. And Levana's just like, she's
Watching her.
just standing on the porch with fucking curlers in her hair. NBD. Cut to Tonya at 15 with braces.
And an
the
80s
braces.
perm.
Yeah,
Uh-huh,
fucking
uh-huh.
hair.
My
you
mom
know,
had that hair.
She like,
So did my mom.
she's skating around, and that's when you see Jeff for the first time, and he's absolutely smitten. Oh, but he's with that. I
Sean.
fucking hate him. The guy did a good job. If I ever meet him, I'll have to shake his hand because he played that character so well. I wanted to stop watching the movie.
Right?
That's how I feel about Dune. I'm like,
With the Baron.
Yes!
Yeah.
It is really gross.
He's way more gross, in my opinion.
Yeah, he sucks.
Anyways, Sean is an asshole. I like how Jeff was like, I didn't have a lot of game back then. It pans to him saying, so, do you like food?
Yeah. And then it does like an interview with the disgusting friend.
Oof.
And he's just saying like, hey, like if I would have said, nah man, you could have done better, then we wouldn't be sitting here now. But I'm just like,
You fucking loser.
just want to rip my hair out. Anyways. So
Cut
Cut to them going on a date with Levana.
Oh, yes.
Oh god.
Awkward.
And then she's like, are you a gardener or a flower, Jeff?
There's the person that does all the work
Mm.
and the person that just receives.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I got from it.
Yeah,
And
that-
also,
well,
that's
'cause-
all that she knows is toxic relationships.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then she describes her own daughter as a flower, being like,
Yeah.
well, she doesn't fucking do anything.
I like that she's like, well, I'm a gardener who wants to be a flower. How fucked am I?
Levana goes, you two fuck yet?
Oh,
God, yes.
As if the date wasn't awkward enough.
I know. It cuts to Tonya in a fur coat. I love those fur coats.
So good.
But yeah, she's walking over to Jeff. He's working on a car. And they're just talking about stuff. And he talked about his dad, died when he was young in the Air Force. Then he's just like, skating is like your superpower. It's so fucking cool what you can do. And she's like, what, do you like me? He's like, it's so fucking pretty.
And they smooching.
Yeah. Oh, but then it was good at first, but then he starts beating her a few months in. There's just a montage of that and fucking.
Yeah.
I I like the whole, like, every so often.
The
like,
fourth wall breaking. I like that too.
And she's like, my mom loves me and hits me, so it's the same, right? And I'm like, oh, girl.
He says that it'll never happen again, and it's like on again, off again, on again, off again.
Yeah.
We've all seen a relationship like that.
Yeah.
And Nancy gets hit one time, and the whole world shits.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff says that he never actually hit her, that he's a pretty meek guy.
Oh, God. The fact that he just, like, kept saying that, like, he just kept being like, well, I would just kind of a meek. I'm like, ew, no.
Yeah.
Even if you were a meek guy, it's like, people can have tempers, you know? 12 months later, in 1986, they're at the Skate America in Portland, Maryland, for that competition. Everybody's getting ready, doing their makeup and their hair and putting on their skates, and then it pans to Tonya in the back hallway, and she's smoking a cigarette. She comes out and is skating to ZZ Top's sleeping bag.
Yeah.
Because of course she is. And she's fucking crushing it. Jeff is there. Mom is there. Jeff's shitty loser friend Sean is there. Who also apparently is Tanya's quote-unquote bodyguard. Blech. And then after she's done performing, she gets a poor score from the judges. And it's because she's not a conventional, like, young woman. She's not like the other skaters. She's skating to ZZ Top, and she's making her own costumes. And cut to dinner with Mom.
And she's just, like, basically going and laying into Tonya about losing and all that stuff. And Tonya says, I outskated the other girls. And the mom says, you skated like a graceless bull dyke. And I'm like, as a graceless bull dyke, I can appreciate it. I don't.
You're not graceless.
Tonya says something, and her mom, like, gets all pissed and starts throwing dishes at her. Fucking throws a knife at her, and it, like, sticks in her arm.
Like, that's a fucked up scene. But like, their faces after it happens, they're just like...
I know.
like when she's looking at her mom, looking at her arm again, and I'm just like... I was making the face, so I was like...
Same. I feel like we were all making the same face.
Oh my
like,
god.
Oh my god.
Even Lavana had that face. That she couldn't believe that it actually happened. Like, she thought that it was just gonna go behind her, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like, just to be dramatic, no, to actually injure.
Yeah.
Well, I guess she always injures her. But.
Yeah, but actually stabbing her.
Yeah.
You know? Tanya's fucking out. She moves in with Jeff, and they're being all cute in their new house. She's making a costume for a competition, and he talks to her about getting her GED. She kind of just, like, sloughs shit off, and she sits down. She's like, well, what if I'm not smart enough? And he tells her this whole story about being scared of the oh my's, like, from Wizard of Oz. And she's just like, you're dumb. And he's like, yeah, and I got a high school diploma. Like, kind of just showing her, like, if I can do it, you can do it type of thing. And I'm like, that's sweet. They be all sweet. Then it cuts to Tonya skating, and she loses again. Not loses, but she doesn't get the scores that she deserves for her skate. She skates over to the judges for an explanation. She's like, what am I doing wrong? You know, and they talk to her about her costume, her presentation, and she was just like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't have $5,000 for a costume. And one of the judges is like, well, maybe you're not as good as you think. Maybe look into another sport. And Tonya looks back, she's like, suck my dick.
I love that.
I know.
Fun fact. Tonya Harding watched the movie. At that scene where she goes, suck my dick, she's like, man, I didn't say that, but I really wish I had.
Yeah. I wonder how, like, the real Tonya Harding felt about. I mean, I would be like, fuck yeah, if Margot Robbie was playing me.
She loved it.
Oh,
by the way.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
everyone had basically the same opinion about Tonya, was that she is this heartless bitch that would do anything to win.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie kind of made you see a lot more perspective.
For sure.
Yeah.
And that she didn't actually do it. I was one of those people that thought that she actually did it herself.
That's what Paul was too. But we were talking about it, and Paul was just like, yeah, didn't she, like, wreck Nancy Kerrigan? I was like, it was her husband.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't even him.
Yeah. It was just some idiot.
I know. Diane follows her in, and they're just, like, talking about being a better competitor. You know, these are the things, and don't, like, the music you're skating to, like, you do have to be more conventional, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, well, whatever, Dodie Teachman wants to be her coach. And then she's like, fucking throws a skate at Diane.
It's only fair that he has a say, because Pumpkin talks all through.
It's interesting that her mom just threw a knife and it stuck in her, and now she's mad at somebody and she throws something sharp. Also, a reoccurring theme, it's not my fault. Unless puberty is my fault.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, at this point, she's pretty much past puberty.
Yeah.
That's not an excuse anymore. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And then it cuts to Sean in an interview saying, yeah, once he took her to a Richard Marx concert, I knew things were serious.
What an idiot. Oh my god.
Cut to
Tonya marries Jeff.
Yes.
And they were happy at the time. And they're being all cute, doing like, got the same dance, you know, and all that stuff. And Tonya sees Levana out in the hallway, and they kind of just stand there. Tanya's thinking that her mom's maybe will say something nice.
Yeah, like, hoping that her mom is proud of her, at least, you know.
Yeah.
Happy for her. And she goes ahead and says,
I don't know what to tell you. Marrying the first guy that calls you pretty, you fucked him. You don't marry dumb.
Right. And they wrote Levana for the win.
Yeah.
So rude. Like, you think that you're gonna get that moment.
You're at your daughter's wedding.
Yeah. Like, you may not approve, but it's happened.
Shit.
Yeah. And the sad thing is that a big reason why Tonya is marrying Jeff is just because she needs benefits and she needs supplemented income.
Yeah.
And now she can just skate like the other girls.
Talking about practicing and competing on top of working at a hardware store. And she's like, well, now I can just skate. You know?
And then it goes into the explanation of the triple axel. It starts off, like, it cuts to different people. The reporter guy is talking about the triple axel, then it cuts to Diane, and she says you skate backwards, then take off from a forward position on your left leg, then somehow, and then it cuts to Lavanya, fucking hurl yourself blindly 3.5 rotations like you're light as shit, which I'm telling you, Tonya never was.
Oh, God.
Then
any chance to just take a shit on her daughter.
Exactly. God. Any chance. And then it cuts back to Diane, which says, land on the opposite foot on the back outside edge of a razor-thin blade. And then it cuts to Jeff. He's saying it's that extra half rotation, calling her a badass. And they called Tonya the Charles Barkley of figure skating.
I love that.
Yeah.
Cut to the 1991 Nationals in Minneapolis, Minnesota. She is really nervous, and she's on her way out to the ice, and she starts getting heckled by some douchebag in the audience.
Like, really going? Like,
yeah, really bad. Jesus. Dodie is her new coach, and she's there pep-talking her, telling her to ignore the heckler, and then as they're walking away, the heckler goes up to Levana in the audience, and it turns out Levana paid him to say shitty things to her daughter. So that, I guess, going back to the she skates better when she's enraged idea.
Yeah.
But god damn it.
Right. And then when she goes out on the ice, and she's like setting up her starting position. She is looking directly at the camera, but she's not, because that's just where she's looking. I don't know what it is about that part, but I was just like, oh, she's fucking ready, you know.
And she's only 20 at this point.
Yeah.
That's right. I always forget about, like, how old she is throughout the movie, like, when things are happening. That's wacky.
And what happens?
And then she's skating. Like, everything's going pretty good. She's got a good routine going. And then she fucking lands the triple axel. And at first crushes it.
And her mom is just so mad.
Everyone's like fucking cheering and standing, and Levana's just like, no,
Whatever.
nothing, you know, just whatever. And and then it cuts to her saying like, well, fuck you, I did it. I proved everyone wrong.
Yeah. They have Jeff in his interview, and he's all like feeling blindsided because after both say it at the same time, like after the triple, everything changed.
So then they have the Dove Bars incident. He's claiming that she was being a prima donna because she won. She's the best in the world. Basically, to put her in place, he just starts beating the shit out of her whenever, for no reason.
Yeah.
Well, when they're like fighting about the Dove Bar, she like turns around and he just like fucking punches her with the letter. And she's like knocked out.
Yeah, after that she was just getting hit constantly, and it comes to a head and she leaves him.
He's just like listening to music. I was like thinking about if we were in like that type of situation, you're leaving because I'm being terrible, but I'm just like in the kitchen, like making myself some food, and then just like have you be gone. Be like that John Travolta meme. Like,
oh God, from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah. Wait, you know, because she packed all of her bags and shit, you know.
So now Tonya is beating all the best girls that everybody loves, like Nancy.
Christy.
Right. She got second in the whole world and then got first in America. And the U.S. skating head honchos are like pretty pissed that it's her. They're like, she is not the pretty picture that we want.
Yeah.
The perfect little doll, you know. And then it cuts to Tonya being like, can I say one thing about Nancy? We were fucking friends and roommates on the road, you know? And it shows them like kind of just eating pizza, smoking, drinking, you know?
Paper wanted Tonya to be a pile of garbage and Nancy to be a princess. And she's like, what kind of person bashes in her friend's knees? Oh god, Jeff and Fat Fuck on the phone with Tonya. And this whole scene, because like Tanya's like, fuck you, and hang up, and he's like,
Mom! Press redial!
It's local! And the mom like is just fucking on the rotary phone, like, what are these parents? Like, this son. And then he gets in the car and he drives all the way to Sun Valley.
And this is after she's filed a restraining order on him.
Oh, and it's after she hangs up on him, but before that she goes, fuck you, and hangs up. I also have here, toxic masculinity abounds.
Right? Sean is just talking the whole time about how he's a secret agent and he does all this stuff, and there's like, they're driving all through the night and Jeff isn't saying anything. He's just like laser focused on what he's doing. And then he's like talking, and then like this fat fuck's like in the backseat with like potato chips all over him, like
not
smoking
wearing
a
a
cigarette.
shirt.
Yeah. And he's like talking about how he's like a big deal and terrorist intelligence or whatever. And then he gets there and he drives up. I mean, he walks up, he's like, Tonya, no, fuck you. And he like flips her off. And then she smiles because he's being abusive, but he drove all the way to Sun Valley.
Just to say, fuck you. So romantic.
Oh my
I know,
god.
right? The 1992 Winter Olympics in Albertville, France. Tonya is ready to complete this triple axel, Dodie's there, like, we got this, and they say that she was late to the games and just, like, completely missed the opening ceremonies. Then she goes and, woof, she doesn't land the triple. But it's not her fault.
Of course not.
Yeah, cut to sleeping in late, drinking, smoking. It was still your fault, Tonya. Sorry to say. Yeah.
Tonya and Jeff are fighting a lot. The cops are called a lot on just, like, domestic disturbances with them. And she ends up divorcing him.
And Jeff says that all that is not true.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the song that's playing during this montage, it reminds me of Michael Scott.
I don't remember what song it was.
Is, Goodbye Stranger.
Oh, God.
It's been nice. In The Office, it's at Toby's going away party.
Oh,
And he's like, goodbye, Toby. It's been nice. He's like, Toby. Anyways, even though it's like the worst scene ever, all I could think of was Michael Scott.
Yeah.
Same.
It shows Jeff hanging out in an empty house because he's a loser and everything was hers. Tonya in her new apartment. She hears honking and hollering outside. It's Jeff with her bag.
In a turtleneck.
In
Or
a
half turtleneck.
Yeah,
and
it's
it's
not even-
white.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
She reminds him that she has a restraining order against him.
At that point, she's like, no, go away, blah, blah, blah. And she puts the chain on the door and locks it, and he just, like, kicks it in. He's gone crazy at this point. He pulls out a gun, puts it in her face, and she's, like, totally in disbelief at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing the thing where he's got it on himself, and he puts it to her, and he's doing it to himself. What do you want me to hurt myself? He's, like, freaking...
Yeah.
Yeah, he does a good crazy, this
He does.
guy. Yeah, but then she ends up running away, like, after she's like, it's okay, I'll do whatever you want, whatever.
He catches her and, like, smashes her into the wall.
Yeah.
And, she kicks him, and she runs out, and he shoots the gun at her, and it bounces off the car and hits her in the head. And then he's like, oh my god, and everyone's like looking, and he's like holding the gun and holding her. He drives off and he gets pulled over for speeding, and I thought maybe someone had called the cops because what it looked like was shooting this girl and kidnapping her, but he gets pulled over and nothing happens.
They see Tonya and her bloody face, and they do nothing.
Yeah, they take guns out, alcohol out, but leave her there with Jeff.
Jeff knows exactly what to say all the time.
Yeah, of course. He can talk his way out of anything. Don't talk to Jeff. And then it cuts to fucking Lavana. Well, my storyline is disappearing. What the fuck? And it's like, oh, really?
Tonya lost all of her, like, sponsors, and she's working at Spud City, which I don't understand, because even getting fourth in the Olympics, you can still, like, teach ice skating.
Yeah.
There's, like, lots of other avenues rather than Spud City. So I'm like, is she being blacklisted or something?
No.
Like,
I wonder if it was just because of the state that she was in, like, emotional state, and having to deal with Jeff and everything.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's always a bummer.
Yeah.
And then Diane pulls up. She's just like, hey, how you doing? Diane informs her that they're holding another Olympics in 2 years instead of 4. Tonya was just like, I'm out of shape. Coach is like, well, Paris is shape. And then she comes up.
I forgot about that line.
I know.
Oh, Diana, come on.
And then she comes up to Tonya and she's like, the world has given you a second chance. Like, we
Gotta
can do
take
this, you know, like lose the blue nail polish.
No heavy metal.
Yeah. And then it does another training montage, which Courtney was like, I love a good training montage.
It's so great.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, if you're doing something hard for that long, like, I feel like in all of my trainings that I've ever done, it feels like a montage by the end, you know?
Yes.
Like, it's just like, it just keeps going and going. And it's cool what she's doing, though. I put, doing forest drills.
Yeah.
Yes.
Running with sacks of potatoes, throwing logs, and doing the milkmaid exercise and ballet. And
whenever she's like doing something in the forest, the coach like looks at the camera and she's like, she did this.
She really did that.
Mhm.
And this.
Mm-hmm.
And this. Like, in her fur coat.
Mhm.
She rocks in a good portion of, like,
Diane.
oh, Diane.
Yeah.
And she says, this is how Rocky trained to beat the Russians, and it worked. And I'm like, the logic is sound.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
That's a pretty
Mhm.
good point.
All we need to do is put her on the steps to the art museum in Philadelphia.
There it is. There it is.
All the while, she's still doing competitions,
Mm-hmm.
like, all over the place, and she's not getting fair scores.
Mm-mm.
Still.
They're claiming that you're not the image we want to portray,
Mm-hmm.
which is bullshit.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
about-
that's after she chases the judge
Yeah.
down.
Yes! Yeah.
And he's like, I'll deny it if it comes in question, but it's not all about the skating. It's about the image they want to portray.
Ugh.
She's like, well, why can't it be about the skating? And he's just like, we're just trying to portray a wholesome American family. And then it cuts to, she goes to see her mom at work. And her mom, like, sees her sitting at a table, and she's like, oh, fuck. And I'm like, come on.
Yeah, for real.
Her mom sits down like, you better not think I'm gonna wait on you. And again, the longest fucking cigarillo, and the way she's holding it, because it's a fresh one,
This is right in the
it's
middle.
like, and
Like holding a pen
Exactly.
in between.
Yeah.
yeah, and let's give Alice and Janny the cheffiest
Oh,
of kiss
she
that
gets
we've
the
ever
cheffiest.
gave anyone for this role.
Did she win any awards for this? I feel like she
I
did,
think she
right?
won an Oscar
Yeah.
for Best Supporting Role.
Baxter agrees with that award.
Do you love Alice and Janney so much?
Mm-hmm. He really liked her in Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Yeah. Baxter, you have such good taste. Lana tells her that she's like a taker.
At one point, she says, "You were soft and I made you tough." And she's like, "Did you ever love me?" Basically, she was saying, like, "I hated my mom and you're
Yeah.
lucky." And yeah.
Yeah, she was saying that, like, I prepared you for the cruelness of this world, and I wish I had a mom like that instead of nice.
Is she saying that her mom is nice?
Mm-hmm. Her mom was nice to her.
And she hates her?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's how she learned to be a horrible?
I guess. And then after that, she calls Jeff and says, I don't think I can make it to the Olympics without you. And they both say that at the same time. She was just like, I just needed some sort of portrayal of perfect.
Yeah.
But after the Olympics, I was just gonna dump him.
Mm-hmm.
Or make
She's
the
like
team.
covering the bruises on her
Mhm.
face.
Which, this is after their divorce, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's really interesting how she thought that that was gonna be the family
Yeah. Well, I mean,
aspect.
Yeah.
and then
The incident.
The
The
incident.
fucking incident.
I love how
have.
everyone says the incident. And Tonya, in it, she's like, that's what you all came for, right? The fucking incident. And then it, like, cuts to everyone.
Everyone has different memories of it. That's what Jeff is saying.
Mm-hmm.
And he's saying that he only talked to the FBI and the media got it all wrong. And one of the things is that people remember Tonya beating Nancy herself.
Yeah.
I remember it that way. And
Mhm.
I was only like a toddler, but from hearing the story, that's what you imagine.
Right.
That's what I thought, too. Like, I feel like that was, like, one of my earlier memories is in, like, hearing, like, the, why?
Yeah.
Why? You know?
Mhm.
But, yeah, I was under the impression that Tonya Harding did it herself.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought she did it with a skate. It's all lies. So, the incident, it starts in 1993, the Northwest Regional Championships. Tonya received a death threat that if she skates today, she'll get a bullet in the back. Obviously, she was too scared to skate, and they all assumed that it was Nancy or Nancy's people trying to intimidate her. Jeff plans to scare Nancy by sending letters, and Fat Fuck knows a guy.
This line. It was so... I had to pause. I was laughing so hard. But he goes, like, Sean's like, I know a guy. Probably shouldn't even be saying his name. Derek.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we talk about the fact that they were meeting in the most skeezy of all strip clubs?
Yeah.
Were they a strip? I thought they were just in a bar.
Yeah.
Did I not pick up on that? There were strippers.
Titties behind
Yeah,
him.
there was
I
like
didn't see it.
behind Jeff
Well, shucks.
when they're talking. There's this like she was just like dancing like this, and she had tassels on her boobs, but they were like all the way down
Like,
here.
The saddest pole dance you've
Yeah.
ever seen,
It's
where
like-
she's hardly even touching the pole.
I've been to a strip bar on a Tuesday afternoon.
Oh,
Before.
Yikes.
So,
for the free chicken wings.
no.
For the breakfast bar.
I was there with somebody.
Can I ask why?
We were picking up drugs.
Alright, that's fair.
What kind of drugs?
It was just weed.
Oh no! I'm thinking like ecstasy or mushrooms.
No,
Yeah.
no, we were just picking up weed at this
Wow.
shitty fucking strip bar on
Oh
a
my
Tuesday at like 2 in the afternoon. So it was like the
You could
C
do that
team,
shit out of the open at that point.
right?
In a club on a Tuesday.
Oh goodness! All right, so I missed the titties.
Yeah.
Go watch it.
They
Everyone.
were, those titties just weren't in their prime.
They weren't working for it.
Mm-hmm.
No, the
Shucks.
tassels hung a little low.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's okay, make your money, honey.
Yeah.
Cut to Sean's
Sean's
guys.
guys.
Derek and Shane.
Mhm.
God. Yeah, Derek Smith and Shane Stamp, who are Sean's guys.
What a bunch of boobs.
I didn't write down that quote, but it's a great quote.
Yeah. It's like in a story full of boobs. They're the biggest boobs.
Yeah, they're trying to like figure out like the people from like Nancy's team, or was it the people at the?
Yeah, they figured out what rink she was. Well, no, because who is that leaving the message?
I feel like it's like somebody from her team.
It's gotta be, right?
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when Tonya calls back, she's like, oh, hey, it's me again. Me and Jeff have this stupid bet going. So I'm thinking it's someone in her crew.
Mm.
Turns out she trains at the Tony Kent Arena.
Not the
Tuna
tuna
can.
can.
She writes it down on a piece of paper with place and time. Then it cuts to Tonya talking about the FBI found this paper in the dumpster somewhere with her handwriting on it. It's not my fault, basically. Yeah. Fat fuck thinks he's a spy.
Oh,
Jeff gives him the $1,000 that he asked for his guys, and he gives him the $1,000, but nothing happens.
yeah, because they're supposed to be sending letters from another state. They just don't end up doing it. They just take the money. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, he decides to call it off altogether.
Yeah,
Well, Sean is asking for more.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like, they had the easiest job.
Yeah.
yeah.
$1,000
And they made it so much more difficult.
You know, well, he's got to be thinking 4 steps ahead.
Oh my god. I didn't even take any notes about what he said because it made me so angry.
I could barely look at him. Like, I'm so... Yeah, we'll get to it.
Well, into it.
So yeah, they're at the rink. Tanya's skating. Jeff's like, you know what? Fucking never mind. Obviously, you guys aren't doing anything. Tanya's like, what are you guys talking about? And Sean says like, the death threat thing is off. And Tanya's like, I don't give a shit. And then
She obviously doesn't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, she's like, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm here to skate. Nancy's here to skate.
also, they're always talking about how they're broke, yet he's just giving them $1,000 to send some fucking letters from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems off.
Why would you? Who knows? Maybe that part's just ad-libbed,
Yeah.
part to add to
I mean,
the movie.
boobs. They're all boobs, and not the good kind of boobs. Not the kind with tassels.
Yeah, then your favorite part of the movie, probably, because Tonya just tells him off.
Yes.
You fat fuck who's probably never been laid, lives with your parents.
Like, you're not a secret agent, you don't have these special operatives, blah, 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 blah. And you can just see he's never had anybody just tell it to him straight. Like, like he's just, like, crumbling, but trying to stay strong.
Yeah.
Trying to keep it together.
Yeah.
It's just not.
January 6th, 1994. Tonya and Jeff both say before that, they're like, I don't know what happened because I was sleeping. So Shane Stant, and he's just walking around backstage, no big deal, asks where the bathroom is, goes out to the rink, and he's like, which one's Kerrigan? The guy points her out. Nancy comes off the ice, and she's drinking her water, and he follows her and, like, whips out his baton and just fucking smacks her so hard in the leg. And then he bails.
Oh, how does he bail?
Here's...
How does he get out of that
I
building?
know. Well, so he gets up to a door and it's locked, right? He uses his head to break the glass, even though he has a baton. Yeah, he's like, ooh. And it's open, like he's holding it in his hand and he just like headbutts.
Idiot.
I know. The biggest boob, And then when he was running to the car, he tackles some guy.
This old
when he
guy
just
onto the ground.
And throws the weapon in the parking lot.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he tackles the guy and he gets up and he's running and he just chucks it. Yeah.
Oh.
So he left the murder weapon.
Yeah.
The assault weapon.
Yeah. So...
Too much true crime.
Mm-hmm.
Crew crime.
Time.
Yeah. Jeff wakes up with a call from Tonya, and she's like, they broke her fucking knee. And he's like, what? Who? And she was like, talking about what happened. Yeah, because the mom sees the news. She's like, that fucking mustache. Like, she knew it was him. He goes to Sean's house. And this is where the parents are recording this news report. And I'm like, do they not know that their son orchestrated this attack?
Right.
Sounds like he was bragging about it to them and made it sound like it was this grand project that was so great. It sounds like his parents are just 100% enablers.
Oblivious.
And he's like talking to Jeff. He's like, even though they recorded over my favorite episode of Star Trek, we all still have stuff we're dealing with.
Oh,
I'm keeping it together.
Yeah. Always 4 steps ahead. And then that's when it's revealed that Fat Fuck was the one that called in the death threat on Tonya. And it never explains why. When I finally think that he's gonna get punched in the face, he doesn't.
He doesn't. I think I know what his motivation.
Okay.
Motivation behind it is because he does say that because of the news coverage of Nancy Kerrigan, since he is Tanya's bodyguard, now that they have this going on with Nancy Kerrigan, now all the skaters are going to need bodyguards, and, like, he's going to get more work.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I wonder if that was even his motivation behind calling in the threat to Tonya.
Mm-hmm. Which he then admits that he did.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, idiot.
Nasty bitch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Dumb. He says that he needs more money to get Shane and Derek out of Detroit. So what happens? Jeff fucking goes and gets a money order in all of their names. And that's January 7th, by the way.
Yeah, January 7th, they have Levana's at the diner watching Tonya on TV. Levana's boss is like, go get your tables. She's like, no, I want to see her face after she performs.
Skate was really awesome, and she knows she did a good job. When she's done, she does that, like, smile.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she looks a little crazy, but it's how she was really smiling after that one.
Yeah. It's just like that kind of smile where it's like you're doing a yes!
Yeah.
Yes, I did it! Yeah.
Exactly. And that's how it was.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. Like, and she did great, and she wins that one, and she makes the Olympic team.
Does she win?
I
Or
thought
she
so.
just makes
She
it?
does.
She does win?
I'm pretty sure she does.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, she is the champ, and she makes the Olympic team.
And then the police track Shane and what's-his-bucket.
First, there's that reporter
Yeah.
guy who is like, they're all fucking boobs,
Yeah.
and let me show you why.
Yeah, he said, because they were in Massachusetts, and they were moving parking spots every 15 minutes
Yeah.
to be less conspicuous. And then they realize that she's actually in Detroit.
And then they have all these phone records that they're leaving everywhere. They have all these credit card expenditures that they're leaving everywhere, and the police track them down very easily.
Jeff's like trying to talk to Tonya about the attack, but he's like, we need to get our story straight. And she's like, about Wheaties, you know?
Right.
She
And-
clearly has no idea that was them.
Yeah. They're talking to the FBI.
I wrote, Jeff is so nervous. Like, he can't keep his cool. Like, he's not looking at them. He's, like, not making complete coherent sentences,
Yeah.
it almost
He's
seems.
like walking around the room, packing up all their shit, you know, just like, oh, we gotta
We gotta
go.
make the plane.
Yeah.
Let's give you a ride.
Yeah. And they're like, but one more thing. Who's Derek? And Tanya's like, I don't know any Derek. And then Jeff, he's like, well, I know lots of Dereks. Bruh. They're driving. Shauna's in the back seat. Jeff's like, who did you tell? You told someone. And Sean's like, I wouldn't have told anyone,
Oh my
even if I
God.
was tortured. And then it cuts to him fucking telling everyone.
Yeah, he's just like at a bar, spilling his guts to anyone who will listen.
Yeah. He's like
And it's
standing
just-
on the side of the road talking to someone on a bike about it.
He's like at a urinal, like talking to the guy next to him.
yeah.
It makes him feel important because he knows that nothing about his fucking life is important.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
48 hours later.
The FBI comes for Sean. He's like, Sean so-and-so, and he's like, no. And his parents are like, who is it, Shawnee? The FBI is talking to him. They're like, so how well do you know Tonya Harding? And he's like, I don't know any Tony Harding. And then,
Yeah, they're like, well, aren't you her bodyguard?
He's like, oh, Tonya.
yeah.
Do you know Nancy?
And he's like, who? They're like, you don't know who Nancy Kerrigan is? He's like, oh, I thought you said something else.
Nancy
You know?
Herring.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, it was Jeff's idea.
Yeah, just right away.
Immediately.
Mhm.
He's, no.
It goes to Jeff and Tonya in their home. There's just media everywhere outside their house. The phone starts ringing and Jeff is like, don't answer that. Don't answer it. It just keeps ringing and ringing. And Jeff eventually goes and answers the phone and it turns out to be Sean. He's just like, I want the rest of my money so I can get out of town. And he's just trying to arrange this meeting. He finally agrees to meet him where he wants, and it pans over and it shows that the FBI are there, pretty much making him make this phone call so that they can catch Jeff.
Yeah, and a key thing about that is, and don't forget the money, because it's just like a drug deal type thing, or even sex worker type thing, where they need to get the money and they need to get the statement.
Yeah. Exchange of goods or whatever.
So
at the stroke of midnight.
Yeah, right.
And Jeff is like, I'm not gonna meet you at the stroke of midnight.
He's like, just do
What's the
it.
plan, man? He's all crying.
So he can, be as dramatic as possible.
Yeah. I mean, he is a spy. So.
He does work in counterterrorism, so...
He sure does.
So Jeff is going to the Golden Buddha restaurant to meet Sean, and I love that he sits down and he's like, "You're sweating a lot, even for you."
Yeah.
And he requests, he knows exactly what's happening.
Oh yeah.
On purpose, he's like, well, why don't we go sit at the bar?
Yeah.
Away from the window, He's like, I'm gonna make this as uncomfortable for you as possible.
Exactly. Oh, and I just love, they're both assholes, but I love this scene where he's just like, he knows, like you said, he knows what's up. And so he's Sean's trying to talk to him about the thing, trying to get him to fess up, and he starts miming the attack, pulling out the police baton and hitting. And he's like, fucking stop! What are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They know something.
Yeah.
Who?
And I like the part where he's like, are you telling me that you had something to do with the attack on Nancy Kerrigan? And he's like, well, yeah. And he's like, don't.
He's like, don't say anything. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go to the authorities.
And then he grabs him. He's like, I want you to listen to me, you fat fuck. You made your bed. Die. I was like,
so good. Fucking
you.
tell him.
Yeah.
Cut 2!
Diane's husband is a lawyer. And they have a nice house. It had a living room and everything.
Yeah, so they're meeting with the lawyer. Tonya obviously still doesn't know anything. She thinks that their involvement is totally different. At that point, they say that Sean has been arrested, and he's saying it's all Jeff's idea. Tonya kind of speaks up, we were only sending letters, and then Jeff covers her mouth, and they leave immediately.
He grabs her arm really hard, and then they leave real fast.
Yeah, at that point, she figures out it was him because of the way he's talking to her, and he hits her right in the nose, probably breaks it or something.
Yeah, straight up punches her right in the face, right after she's like, you had something to do with this. She fucking lawyers up against that bitch.
She's like, he never told me that he had anything to do with it, but I knew in that moment it was him. So she goes to the FBI and gives a statement. Then Jeff runs up to Tanya's house and he's like, I can't believe you went to the FBI. And she says, no, I didn't. But they showed him the transcript.
Not a smart idea on their part.
Yeah.
No.
Stupid.
And they were having this exchange, and Tanya's just like, I'm sorry, I can't do this.
About what he was trying to say to her through the door, trying to do all this poor me bullshit. And he's like, why did you tell them that? It's just I told them that you did this because you fucking did this. And it's just what did you expect?
Yeah.
Some people, man. And then there's this scene with Sean being interviewed by the FBI agents, He's just like, oh, I'm a spy. I work in counterterrorism. And they just look at him and they go, Sean, we checked, and you don't.
He's like, but I did. But you don't. We checked. He's like, I did. I was quoted as an expert on counterterrorism, something or another. And she's like, oh, where? He's like, I think it was a travel magazine.
Dude, I was like, he sounds like my fucking dad. Just like, okay, I couldn't tell you the exact words that were said, but I've had that type of conversation where I'm like, I have proof. And he's like, no. And I'm like, but here it is. So he's like, no. I'm like watching him like, what the fuck?
I hate him so much.
He sucks so. Oh, God damn it.
I want to go and look up all those interviews.
I know, me too. Well, they had part of his interview during the credits, and I was like...
Same exact person.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cut to Jeff being guilty for basically not really much other than trying to cover it all up and being an accomplice. Didn't he say he probably would have gotten off if he had just said what was going on?
Yeah, because he knew what was going on and didn't report it, then trying to cover it up.
Mm-hmm. He's charged with racketeering, which I don't know what that is. Do you guys know? Should I ask the internet?
Google it. Is a type of organized crime in which the perpetrators set up a coercive, fraudulent, extraordinary, or otherwise illegal, coordinated scheme or operation, or consistently collect a profit.
Huh.
So...
Wonder how it is charged with racketeering.
And it could be murder, money laundering, financial and economic crimes, kidnapping, sexual exploitation, bribery, robbery, cyber... So really, it just could...
Yeah,
okay.
if you're paying for something illegal, basically.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
okay.
And coordinating it.
Did you say anything about Lavana's red velvet robe?
Not yet, but
that's my next bullet
Hell yeah.
point.
It's so fucking Lavana. She's got,
God.
and it's just like a length of it. It's not like blocking anybody out. It's like 8 feet of red velvet rope in front of Lavana's house. Mm-hmm. She was like, I'm not going to talk to any reporters unless you stay on the other side of that rope.
Yeah.
And they were just like, and we did. We stayed on the other side of it just to get a picture.
Like fucking dogs.
Yes!
Yeah.
That was so funny.
Behind the rope.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was so funny.
Kerrigan is on the Olympic team as well. After her recovery, Lavone, what is it?
Lavana. Lavone.
It's so bad.
Was I calling her Lavon?
It's
That's
a
like
weird
Lavone.
name. So Lavana comes to Tonya's and pretends to be caring.
Ugh.
And she's like, I like your hair pulled back. You look young. And she's like, I'm 23. And, she's saying, like, you did good. Like, I'm proud of you, blah, blah, blah. And she gives her mom a hug. Her mom clicks on a tape recorder and starts asking her, well, did you know about it? And Tonya, like, finds it in her pocket, pushes her out the door and, like, hooks the tape recorder at her. The reporters are, like, tormenting her. Mm-hmm. They're getting her tires flattened. They're getting her car towed just so they can get a picture.
Yeah. Garbage
Fucking
people.
Bullshit. Yeah.
And shit like that happens today with the Paps, as Britney Spears likes to call them. I have that at this part, it cuts to the interviewing Tonya, and it's kind of sad. She's like, it was like getting abused all over again by all of you.
Yeah. You're my abusers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Tanya's still making her own costumes.
Nope.
Yeah. At first it cuts to, like, a news report, like, introducing, like, the top skaters.
Tonya gives a statement in a press release, and the Olympics tries to take her off the team, and then she turns around and tries to sue them for $10 million, And suddenly they let her on the team.
In the part where she gives her apology, she says, I apologize for frailing, and then she says failing. And I felt that deep in my bones. Because I'm like, fucking me, man.
Did it even did it show her full statement, or just
No.
like the beginning of it?
Yeah, just
Okay.
a little bit of it.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't have any of what she said.
Yeah, that's really all I wrote down, just because I'm like, I felt that. You know, when people are always...
So after the statement, it says that they are taking her off the team, and then she turns around and tries to sue them for $10 million. And then they suddenly let her back on the team. And then it cuts to her at the Olympics.
Mm-hmm. This part's hard to watch. She's
It's
in her dressing room.
really hard.
And she's trying so hard to keep it together.
Mm-hmm.
And she's putting on her makeup, and she's just like, tears are streaming down her face. And then she looks in the mirror and she just like smiles, like, you know, like trying so hard to keep it together, and it just breaks my heart.
And she has lipstick on her teeth.
Oh, she
Yeah.
does?
Yeah.
I didn't even...
Yeah, and just like the rouge she puts on, there's like so much of it, and it's just like so bright, and like, and then she tries to like smooth it into her skin, and she gets it on her forehead, and she's like, those smiles that she's doing at herself to just like, to really just basically looking like she's trying to convince herself.
How many of us have sat in front of a mirror trying to do your makeup and just crying?
Yeah.
And you're trying to just put on a good face. You're under pressure, and then you have to try and make your face not look like you were crying. Yeah. And then perform to the fucking world.
Yeah. And especially in a sport where you have to be this picture perfect figure skater.
Presentation is everything.
Yeah. Because to Jeff, he was asked to comment on hard copy. He was like, well, they paid good, so...
Cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Then it cuts to Tonya, that she's late because her skate broke at practice.
She had a problem with her laces.
Yeah,
Yeah.
laces broke.
Yeah, I even wrote lace. Okay.
Yeah, it's a part of the skate.
Yeah. So she's late. She's taking forever. She's trying to sort out her lace, and they're like, well, she might get disqualified. And then she's like, fuck it, I'll go.
And she's afraid, she tells her coach that she's afraid she's gonna break her ankle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they say that it's like every skater's worst nightmare to have a lace break like that.
Mm-hmm.
She goes out, she goes to do her first jump, and it just, like, halfway, and she's just like, I can't do this. So she goes up
just
to the...
hear the crowd just like...
Yeah. She's just, like, Margot Robbie... I love her. I think she's a great actress. And this part, like, from her in the dressing room till this part, it hits you hard.
Mm-hmm.
And
it made me think of her Harley Quinn performance, where she's just a little nutty and like her makeup smeared, and she's just, I don't know. It kind of made me think of that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, there are some parts when, like Jeff says, some people swear that they saw Tonya do it herself, and she's like with a bat, and she gets up and she's got like blood on her face. And I was like, there she is. So she stops and goes up to the judges, and she puts her skate like right on the table. She's like, look, it broke. I can't do this. I would have come out on time, but it broke and I'm scared. It's cool because, you know, the judges really want to allow you to compete at your best. Mm-hmm. So they allow a reskate.
Which is surprising with everything you hear about these judges in this movie.
Real talk.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, she's just like, it's not my fault that the lace broke, you know, and that's not, but it's just that common theme of like, it wasn't my fault. Mm-hmm. She was really happy with her performance and gets 8, and she's like, fuck yeah, I'll take it. And Nancy does awesome too. And she wins silver. Tanya's like, there she is. Second place at the Olympics. And she looks like she stepped in poop.
That is actually kind of what happened this year in figure skating.
Oh, really?
It was another Russian.
God, the Russians, man.
And I want to say another Russian got first and beat her because of the artistry component. She herself got silver, even though she did amazing tricks, and I want to say they kept saying she did 4 in a row of this certain kind of trick, and she still got second to this chick. And as she was leaving the medal ceremony, she was quoted as saying, "I'm never skating again." She has since said that it was just emotional, but...
Wow.
Yeah.
And nothing against Russia or Russians, but they seem to always really shaking shit up at the Olympics. They're
really intense.
Yeah, there's always some sort of doping scandal. There's always,
I don't take offense.
Oh, yeah.
It's fine.
Here I am, always talking a shit about Russians, and I got one sitting fucking to the right of me. Every time I forget, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm talking shit about Russia again. Even though I'm obsessed with tattoo. They really helped me come out of the closet.
Oh, yeah.
Those Russians.
Yeah.
Fucking Russians.
They let the trial be after the Olympics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she gets fined, community service. She has to donate, set up a fund for the Special Olympics. And she's also banned from figure skating. And that's
forever.
Forever.
Like a lifetime ban.
Yeah. Everything else, she's like, okay, but that, she's just like, put me in jail, do anything. I don't have an education. Please don't do this to me. Like, you're giving me a life sentence. Like, the judge is like, I've already made my decision. And the lawyer says that's the best they can get her. And it's really
just
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel so bad for Tonya Harding. Because she got dragged through the mud. Even though I don't know what she knew, but I don't think that she knew the full story.
Yeah.
And everything that I've read about the incident, they just put her in such a bad light. It's heartbreaking, you know? Jeff got 2 years, but he did 8 months to the day.
That pissed me off. He's just like, well, I got 2 years and I served 8 months. And I'm just like, and Tonya got a lifetime fucking ban from the one thing she cares about.
Yeah. And she didn't even do anything. He says the morning that he got up to go to jail, their reporters were leaving. Just like that. It's old news.
And O.J. Simpson's stuff is playing on the TV.
Yeah.
My mom's claim to fame is that she was on that freeway when that happened.
Wow. I feel like maybe we should be treating your mom with a little more respect.
Well,
she was on the freeway.
It cuts to Lavana's interview. She was like, I don't really see Tonya anymore, but that's fine.
And my bullet says, Lavana leads a full life like an asshole.
But she gets bit by her bird. I love how throughout the movie she keeps getting bit by it. Jeff was just like, I 100% destroyed her career.
And that it wasn't her idea.
Mm-hmm.
And it never would be. Cut to
2003, Tonya became a boxer.
I put that all she knows is violence, you know? And, well, not all she knows.
Well, she says that line, too. Violence was always what I knew anyway.
Oh, yeah, that is what she says. It's even in my notes.
Yeah.
And she says, America wants somebody to love and to hate. How is that chick in the same weight class as her?
Right?
I'm like, she is a big lady.
Yeah.
have a lot of muscle anyways under any sort of fat that you might have.
Right.
So, I'm sorry, there's no way that they're in the same weight class.
This movie is false.
How dare they? I don't know why, but I love that they do that, like, skating/boxing slow-mo montage to Dream a Little Dream of Me.
Ugh.
I don't know why. I love that.
It's just like her last hurrah, kind of, like, and then it cuts to the facts stuff about what happened since then.
Tonya and Lavana haven't had any contact. The last Tonya heard from her mom was living behind a porn shop in Washington. Jeff changed his name to Jeff Stone and married someone named Nancy, and they opened Nancy Nicole's Hair and Trimming. And he is a car salesman, happily married with 2 children.
With his third wife.
Oh, with his third wife.
Ah.
Tonya does pro landscape.
Pro landscaping?
Competitive landscape.
Who can mow the lawn the fastest?
I forgot the boxing. Pro landscaping. She's does professional boxing, deck building, and house painting. She lives in close proximity to Jeff, but doesn't have any contact with him. She is happily married with a 7-year-old son, and she wants everyone to know she is a good mom. Fiend.
Should I start production fun facts?
Yep.
Okay. My sources were obviously Wikipedia, as they always are. I also used an article from mentalfloss.com, and I also got some information from theringer.com. And then the Campbell Soup commercial is just on YouTube.
Nice.
I'm gonna start with they shot this movie in like 32 days.
Shut up.
Yeah. That's there was like more details, but I can't find the fact. But they shot this movie in like 32 days at the like arena where they were filming all of the skating shots. They only had like a couple hours here and there because it was still being used for its regular stuff.
Oh my god.
So they had to work around like the ice rink's like regular schedule to try and film this movie.
They couldn't like just buy it out for a month?
I guess not.
And they probably had short timing to reserve it, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that they shot it in such short like a little over a month. That's
crazy.
Yeah, especially a movie like this.
Yeah.
Because there's like a lot of stunts and stuff in it.
Right. I want to hear how much Margot Robbie did of the skating.
Okay, well, good thing my first thing is Margot Robbie and her skating skills.
Yes.
While Robbie had previously played in an ice hockey league.
Wait, she did?
Yeah.
In IRL?
Yeah.
Of course she did.
And
Beautiful.
in Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah, she does
She does roller derby.
I have never seen that movie.
It's okay, you don't have to.
I didn't like it or I didn't watch it simply because I don't like, what's this bucket from? Yeah, Jay.
Jared Leto.
I know.
Jay Leto.
I always get it confused too.
Jared Leto.
Yeah.
He isn't so much in Suicide Squad. He's not really in any of them except like briefly.
Probably.
It's super brief.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways,
Okay.
Ice Hockey League.
While Robbie had previously played in an ice hockey league, she definitely had to do some extensive training to play an Olympic figure skater of such magnitude as Tonya Harding. She had met Tonya Harding before filming, and Harding actually expressed concern for Robbie, worried that she would injure herself while training, and she offered to take Robbie to a local ice arena so that she could give her tips on how to train without, like, risking injury to herself.
Wow.
Yeah, but she forgot her skates. She didn't bring her skates with her.
Tonya?
No, Margot Robbie.
Damn it.
And so I was like, you're Margot Robbie, go buy some.
Oh.
You're producing this movie.
Why don't... Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they never got a chance to meet again before production.
Oh. They did after?
I don't know.
Oh.
Oh, well, they saw each other because Tonya Harding was invited to the premiere.
Oh,
Mhm.
wow.
Yeah.
She
So-
went?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She went. They couldn't find any other stunt double figure skater for Robbie that could accomplish the triple axel because obviously Margot Robbie couldn't do it. But
And
they
I
couldn't
don't-
find anyone else
Yeah,
either.
I mean, that's still how hard it is.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of people can do that.
Exactly. So they had to rely on visual effects to show Robbie landing the triple axels in the movie. And then, so producer Tom Ackerley, there's a quote from him saying, there have been only 6 women since Tonya Harding who have done a triple axel. Even if there was one who was doing it today, she'd be training for the Olympics and wouldn't risk doing it for the film.
Mm-hmm.
And my third Margot Robbie fun fact. Robbie suffered from a herniated disc in her neck throughout the entire shooting of the film. She had to have regular MRIs to keep making sure that it was safe for her to continue skating
What?
for the role. She had an MRI at the end of every week.
Because
And
they were, like, did they think she was gonna, like, break it?
they thought that she was just going to injure it further. So it
Oh,
it was a herniated disc.
Shit.
But
Of course she is. She's fucking amazing.
this is what she was saying. She said that if she hadn't also been a co-producer of the movie, she probably would have quit due to the pain.
Oh.
And she said in an interview, because I was a producer, I was like, we can't afford that. Just shoot me up with steroids and let's keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I read that and I was like, I have 2 herniated discs in my lower back, and like some days I just can't move.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
the fact that she was ice skating with one in her neck, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, flipping it around.
Yeah, and like all of the spins and having to like move your head. That
Mhm.
oh, I can't
Yeah.
even.
Mm.
During interviews with Harding, Galooly, and Golden, it became obvious to screenwriter Stephen Rogers that the movie was going to have to rely on the audience's decisions about who to believe, as the interviews varied wildly in their accounts of the years spent together. Jeff Galooly did not accept any type of financial compensation for his life rights or for his interview. He was forthcoming in his involvement with Kerrigan's attack, owning up to initially having the idea to threaten her with letters, and admits his part in the ultimate ruin of Harding's career, acknowledging that Harding was an incredible skater. So,
At least he did that.
yeah,
You know?
like, people can change, I guess, but also you
yeah.
ruined her life. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and it's cool that he's not profiting
yeah.
off of his involvement. He's like, no, I fucked her over.
And that's exactly what he said. He's like, I have no interest in profiting off of this.
Yeah.
Except
is-
for that one time.
Yeah.
Hard copy.
Way back when for hard copy.
Yeah.
That was when everything was still fresh.
Yeah. He's
I
had some time to realize how
But-
bad he fucked up.
I wonder if he, like, did that for hard copy, and everybody was like, are you fucking kidding me? And then he was like, okay, I won't do it again.
Yeah.
This one's Allison Janney. She was chosen specifically for the role of Tonya's mother by Stephen Rogers, who did the screenplay. Rogers and Janney had been lifelong friends.
Oh.
They used to perform in community theater together.
Oh.
And Rogers had been trying for years to get Janney cast in various roles for his scripts, with no luck. And they had this, like, inside running joke that he would eventually write a movie about her life, and only to have the role of Allison Janney be cast by John Malkovich.
Yes.
Like, he can't get her whenever he sells a script, he can't get those people to cast her. Like, I don't know what it is.
That's weird.
But he's like, I'm gonna write a movie about your life, and whoever buys it isn't gonna cast you, they're gonna cast John Malkovich to be you. With Tonya, he actually eventually refused to sell his script to anyone unless Janny was cast as Levana Golden. And she claims that representing Golden was one of the most challenging roles of her career. So there is that. I don't have it written down, but I want to tell you the fun story about the bird.
Yes.
So even the bird had to audition because Janny's not a bird person.
Oh.
And so they auditioned 3 birds. She was like, I'm sure you noticed that the bird was like eating my ear like the whole time. And she's like, that was the calmest bird we could get. Like all the other ones would like freak out.
I love how
Oh my
she was
God.
just kind of playing it off.
When director Craig Gillespie came on to work on the movie, he explained that his interest in the movie was the aspect of showing how the media treats people and portrays situations. In an interview with Rogers, he explained that he did not want Kerrigan to be featured extensively in the film, saying it's not called I, Nancy. I like to believe personally that it also helped Gillespie's interest, as he was not super stoked on dragging Nancy's name back into this as a quote.
Yeah.
Both director and screenwriter were very intent on portraying Tonya just as she was, without leaning any one way for sympathy to any single character.
Even though you totally feel sympathy for her because
Yeah.
the real events were totally horrible.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think I remember reading, one of them said, like, you can kind of be telling Tanya's story without having to, like, pull any extra heartstrings.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's pretty fucking tragic all on its
Yeah.
own. I couldn't find exactly how it was used or how it makes any sense, but the lead hair designer had 3 wigs for Margot Robbie, and in order to achieve, like, that, like, crispy, crunchy looking
yeah.
stuff of the 90s, they used cheap beer on it.
What?
Yeah. I was like, I even looked it up. I was like, how do you put beer on hair? And I got nothing.
Really?
Yeah.
They soak it in it and
Do
then
they
it
spray
dries.
it on
Yeah.
there?
Is it like a hairspray type?
I don't know. But she said that, like, you can't get bangs to stand up that way with just mousse. And I was like,
I've
Is
seen
that
it.
what
okay.
everybody did then?
I don't know.
I heard like egg whites were a thing.
Mm-hmm.
No, see, that makes sense.
Yeah. But I remember seeing bangs like that all the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In
Did
the
people
90s.
use beer on their hair then?
Maybe.
I feel like I would have found more information about it
I
if
know.
they did.
What about that LA gel? That'll fucking do the job.
That'll mess your hair up.
Yes.
Robbie, upon first reading the script, thought that it was a fictional story that was, quote, dreamed up by some kooky screenwriter, as she was 3 years old and living in Australia when the whole Harding-Kerrigan debacle happened.
That's true.
And so she didn't realize it was based on real events until she had finished reading the script. And Rogers was tickled that she thought he had come up with it on his own, saying to a co-producer, don't tell her, let her think I'm a genius. Growing up, Allison Janney actually was a competitive figure skater.
No.
Yeah, and she had dreams of going to the Olympics.
Oh.
But she was forced to give up on that dream when she ran into a glass door and sliced a tendon in her leg as a teenager. So a few years after that happened, she decided to go to school and pursue an acting career.
Oh.
Which, she fucking killed it.
Yeah.
I mean,
And she continues to kill it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is my last fun fact, and I'm going to show you guys the commercial too, don't worry. Craig Gillespie, the man who directed I, Tonya, also directed, in 1993, a Campbell's Soup commercial featuring Nancy Kerrigan.
No.
Yes!
What?
In which Kerrigan gets all of her energy from eating Campbell's chicken noodle soup, and has so much energy, in fact, she's thinking of getting into ice hockey. She then proceeds to seemingly gut chuck a hockey player into
Whatever.
oblivion.
Yeah.
You guys know how I feel about soup. Okay. And the truly inspired tagline of, in all caps, "Never underestimate the power of soup," is plastered across the screen, and I've never felt so seen in my life. And those are all my fun facts.
That was amazing.
I'm glad
And
you liked
I
it.
definitely remember that commercial now.
I just love this, like, in her quest for gold, she's just always eating soup.
Yeah. Okay, I got my sources from Wikipedia and encyclopedia.coms. Tonya Maxine Harding was born November 12th, 1970, to Lavona Golden and Albert Harding.
Lavana.
Richard Gere all over again. She was primarily raised by her mother, who put her in skating lessons when she was 3.
A soft 4.
A soft 4. By the time Tonya was born, her mom was already on her 5th marriage. She grew up hunting, drag racing, auto mechanics, all that fun stuff. And then Tonya Harding's parents divorced in 1987 when she was 16. She dropped out of high school during her sophomore year to focus on skating.
So, I thought that I guess it's a movie, so it's not exact, but in the movie it portrayed him leaving when she was young.
Maybe he left and their divorce didn't go through till later.
Yeah. They were separated.
So she dropped out, but she did get her GED in 1988. So she did do that.
Good year.
Yeah, good year. So Tonya has spoken out about her mother's abuse. Her mother denies it. She only admitted to one instance of hitting her at the skating rink.
Because it was witnessed.
Yeah.
Right.
It sucks because I wrote it all Lavona, so there's that.
That's how it's spelled.
Lavo.
Yeah, that's how it's spelled.
I can see how you would get it mixed up.
Yeah.
Because it looks like Lavona.
Yeah.
And the Lavana that I saw, the Sensi Lavana, she had 2 N's. So it's a lot more like
Get
Donna.
it,
Like,
Anna.
Yeah.
So with just the 1 N, it definitely looks more like Lavona.
Maybe the capital V changes things.
Oh.
Maybe.
Anyways. Lavana. In 2018, a childhood friend of Harding spoke in defense of Lavana, saying the movie I, Tonya stretched some of the truths. She said, although Lavana could be egregious towards Harding, Lavana funded and supported Tonya and had a huge amount of humanity. I don't know, but that kind of sounds like abuse to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if anyone's using the word egregious, even if it's sometimes...
And you can be supporting somebody and still be abusing them.
To quote Lavana, whose family is perfect.
Right.
In Harding's biography, she said that her half-brother Chris Davidson did molest her when she was young. She called the police because he was sexually harassing her and terrorizing her. He was arrested, spent some time in jail, but of course her parents were in denial and convinced her not to press charges.
Right.
But I found this interesting. Chris Davidson was later killed in an unsolved hit-and-run accident in 1988. So In
Unsolved,
I know.
quote unquote.
In an interview, Tonya said he was the only person unworthy of her forgiveness and the only person she's ever hated. So there's that.
Wow. Understandably.
Right? Yeah. I love how
unworthy of my forgiveness. Yeah. That is heavy.
Yeah. You know, her coach was Diane Rawlinson, and she began working her way up the ladder competitively. In 1986, she placed 6th in the U.S. figure skating champs. 1987, she was 5th. She was 3rd in 88 and 89. After the 1989 champs, that's when she began working with Dodie Teachman, and she, in October 1989, she won the Skate America, and then in February of 1990, even though she was suffering from the flu and asthma and had a poor free skate, she was dropped from 2nd to 7th, but I'm like, that's still pretty decent for having the flu. And then, in 1991, in the U.S. Champs, she landed her first triple axel. The first American woman to achieve that. March of 1991, at World Champs, she again landed the triple axel, but came in 2nd with Christy Yamaguchi got 1st, and Nancy Kerrigan came in 3rd. In September of 1991, in the Skate America competition, she had 3 more firsts. The first woman to complete the triple axel in the short program, the first woman to successfully execute 2 triple axels in a single competition, and the first ever to complete a triple axel in combination with the double toe loop. I don't know what that is. But
it sounds impressive.
Yeah,
that's for damn sure.
She was really, I feel like at that time, she was the best skater. Mm-hmm. She just didn't have that look.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, because even still to this day, not a whole lot of people can land that. Sadly, after 1991, she was never able to successfully land the triple axel. Despite twisting her ankle in practice, she placed 4th in 1992 Winter Olympics. So she placed 2nd in the 1994 U.S. Champs, but in June of 1994, she had the title stripped due to the incident investigation. Tonya was still allowed to stay on the Olympic team and placed 8. Her lace broke and she was granted a reskate. We all know about her sentence. And despite that USFSA ban, she did compete at the pro level, placing 2nd at the ESPN Pro Skating Champs in 1999.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
How?
I don't know.
She had okay.
Yep. Onto the incident.
So, how much of it was accurate in the movie?
Yeah. So, it was actually fairly accurate. Tonya and Nancy were rivals. And I wrote, even though Tonya was a better skater, Carrington was winning because she was the wholesome girl next door type.
Was it true that they were like friends?
I couldn't find anything about it, but I feel like they were. I feel like I've heard something like that. Like they weren't.
I feel like Nancy would have like spoken out if they hadn't been. Just be like, that's bullshit. Like.
Yeah. So, January 6th, 1994, one day before the U.S. Figure Skating Champs in Detroit, Nancy was attacked in a corridor after a practice session. The aftermath of the attack was recorded because the practice skate was being recorded, and it shows her, like, behind the blue curtain. They were just chilling, and when they heard her screaming is when they ran in. Yeah.
I was wondering why they were recording, so.
I just kind of figured it was like they were already set up kind of deal. I don't know. But that's interesting. I didn't really think of that aspect.
Oh my god, could you imagine being those like camera people just like hanging out, whatever, and then you just hear this blood-curdling scream.
Shane Stant and his uncle Derek Smith were hired by Harding's ex-husband and her bodyguard, Sean Eckhart. Fucking hate you. And they didn't find her in Massachusetts. They actually, Stant only, he took a 20-hour bus trip to Detroit.
I don't think I realized they were related.
Yeah, I don't know if it says.
You said that
It's Derek and Shane.
was his uncle?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. And I know they made it seem like they were the same age. But on this, when Nancy went behind the curtain, Stant, rushed up behind her, and he actually used both hands with the baton and hit her.
Was it the back of the knee or the side of the knee?
It was the side.
Oh, man.
Striking above the knee. He was aiming to break her leg, but it wasn't broken. It was just really, really bruised. Mm-hmm. But she recovered, and she was still able to compete in the Olympics.
Holy shit.
That's wild.
So it was just a big bruise?
I mean, yeah. Yep. I mean, if you think about the leg muscles that she had protecting her bones, I'm sure it was the worst bruise in the history of bruises. Not even fucking Herb Brooks would be you candy ass. He'd be respect.
Oh, you got a contusion.
Big bruise. That's how I'm feeling right now. I'm like, what, you got a big bruise?
Yeah. So, and that's why she was able to recover, to be able to compete in the Olympics.
Okay.
I was curious about that. I was like, wait, she's skating?
Yeah.
I thought it was a big break.
Yeah. Well, and I was under the impression that they got her knee. Yeah. But it was above her knee.
That's interesting.
Yeah. How can you aim? Because he just came up. I just can't believe he used two hands. Because the amount of force that he uses with one hand in the movie.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what it would be like.
And with, even just a police baton with one hand can do a lot of damage. But, with two hands?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have one right there.
Are you Shane?
I am.
Did you? Oh, God.
My uncle, Derek, got He gave this to me as a present.
You had me for a second. I was like, yeah, this thing's fucking heavy.
Yeah. Anyway, so I do have a baton that not the one that they used, but
sure.
You
can talk to your Uncle Derek about it.
So back to this. So this is crazy. So on January 11th, Ann Scatz interviewed Ann Scatz.
Do-bap-a-doo.
Oh, I think it's Shat.
Oh, that's not even better.
It's even worse.
And shat on a tattoo.
Okay, so Ann Schatz, I'm sorry, Ann, interviewed Harding for KOYN TV, Portland, Oregon. She asked Harding whether someone she knew could have planned the attack, and Harding replied, "I've definitely thought about it." And Gululi stood in her view behind the camera the entire interview.
Oh, so intimidating her maybe?
Mm-hmm. And then the interview ended with Harding saying, "No one controls my life but me. If there's something in there that I don't like, I'm going to change it."
Wow.
But then she confirmed that she had spoken with the FBI in Detroit and again in Portland. And then January 13th, Eckhart and Smith were arrested. The USFSA made a statement on whether Eckhart's arrest affected Harding's Olympic placement. "We will deal with only the facts. Harding and Galooly's separate lawyers confirmed the couple were in daily contact and cooperation with law enforcement. When she talked to the FBI, Harding had changed her story well into a long interview. After hours of denying any involvement, trying to cover up the plot, the FBI agent finally told her that he knew she had lied to him and that he would tell her exactly how she had lied to him. And then in the transcript's final passage, Harding stated, "I hope everyone understands. I'm telling on someone I really care about. I know now Jeff is involved, and I'm sorry."
God, the way that they took things, like, to an extreme with this.
Like in the media?
Yeah, like, it was so, like, talked about. It was everywhere, like, such a scandal. And then to know
that like, wasn't broken.
Like, there was no strain, like, no tendon popped, like, nothing crazy. She was able to actually compete. Like, I don't know. I guess it is, like, a violent attack.
Yeah, but it's a violent attack. And, you know, I don't know, man. It's just, like, I feel like they tried to make an example of her.
Yeah.
'Cause it's a big deal trying to, like, organize and take out an opponent like that. Mm-hmm. But, like, it sounds to me like they were just trying to make an example of her.
Yeah.
That and the skating world did not like the way
they didn't like her.
She was. Yeah, they didn't like her. So, I mean, it's kind of a prime opportunity for them to be like, yeah, no, you can't do this anymore.
It's just that scene from the movie where, like, her mom shows up to the house. I almost cried when, like, she reached into her pocket and, like, I heard the click. I was like,
yeah.
So awful.
In 2014, Nancy Kerrigan addressed the scandal during a brief interview with sportscaster Bob Costas. "Whatever apology Tonya has given, I accept it. It's time for us all. I've always wished Tonya well. She has her own family. I have my family. It's time to make that our focus and move on with our lives." And that is the story of Tonya Harding and the incident.
Oh, the incident.
All right, let's get some Oreos in this mix. So this week on Oreos so our best friend, Griff, suggested that we try easy cheese on the Oreos. She said it was very good, so...
Oh, here goes.
See. Oh, thank you. Should we put it on the inside?
Yes.
As, like, extra frosting. Oh, do you shake it?
I don't know.
I don't think you have to shake it.
I mean, you do it if you want. If you do it straight up and down, it's
all right. You know what? I'll just eat that.
Cheese worm.
That might be a lot.
It's hard to control.
Yeah, right.
Oh boy, it's my.
Am I stupid?
I know.
It's it comes out fast.
Wild and crazy cheese.
Have they always called it easy cheese? Mm-hmm. Where did I get Cheese Whiz from?
I always
Cheese
thought it
Whiz
was
is
too.
different. Cheese Whiz comes in a jar.
Mm-hmm. It does. I think in the Goofy movie he calls it Cheese Whiz.
All right, here we go.
Wait up.
All right.
Okay.
Oh God, this better not be fucking French caramelized onion.
Oh, that was.
I don't think anything can be as bad as that.
All right,
we're only going up from here.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Salud!
Salud!
Salud! I don't hate it.
I think there's just too much cheese on mine. Like, I don't hate it, but all I taste is cheese.
I liked it.
It's good.
Mm-hmm.
I just think I need less.
I think it's good.
Yeah, it's kind of like the sour cream sensation where it's like a little tang, so it kind of feels like a...
It's almost like
a cheesecake.
Mm-hmm. Cheesecake, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Griff.
Thank you,
thanks, Griff.
All right.
I'm doing another.
Yeah, so I give that, 10 out of 10.
Oh, yeah.
All right, 10 out of 10. Try it. Easy cheese and Oreos. Pretty good. Wrap us up, Emily.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. Please rate, review, and subscribe. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. The theme song is written and performed by my husband, Paul, and you can follow him on his Instagram and Facebook under his band name Pathos and Logos. Come follow us on Instagram at Inspired by Movies Pod. You can come follow us on Twitter at inspiredby_pod. YouTube, we're there now. You can find us at Inspired by Movies, the podcast. And we now have a Patreon.
What?
If you're interested, which you should be, because we have bloopers. We are gonna have an episode about Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah.
If you guys have any ideas for merch, if you have any ideas of what we should put on our Oreos, if you like us and you want to tell us, if you don't like us and you want to tell us nicely, you can email us at inspiredbythepodcast@gmail.com. And as Courtney's junior high vice principal always says,
Make it a great day or not. The choice is yours.
goodbye.
Goodbye.